Hello. Hello. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone in the world you are. It's your Blue Archive Gacha Whale Beginner to Self-Proclaimed and your boy Tosanyu. Welcome to the stream. For today I will be doing some art, but also like chatting like for the most part I would say, since I don't really have an idea what to draw today, I was like say. But you have on the left side some samples on like how I would like draw chibi and roughly like how I color them, so that they have a little bit of a reference on like what to expect. It's kind of like if I try a drawing, this can take like maybe around 2 hours or so. But gonna like see how this one will go, I suppose. I think like for starters I would like go in and try to draw K from Blue Archive, I suppose. But first of all, doodling first, and then if I feel like that's good, then I will color it. If not, then next picture. It's like the gist for me. Blue Archive, if you don't know what it really is like a tactical mobile military RPG game, and revolves like around anime girls, guns, and then like the youth as well. So you can imagine it's like it's a slice of life, you know, where cute girls are like doing cute things, but they have guns. So if ever like chaos is breaking out, you know, like some banter, some conflicts, then gonna be like explosions, guns, bullets like fired, you know, some grenades like thrown, and it's like this kind of chaos, like on a really ridiculous level. But you don't have to take it seriously, but it takes itself somewhat seriously, I suppose. But yeah, it's like kind of like nothing to have to pay too much attention to. But when the story like dramatically ramps up, you know, you will like notice that, and it can become like pretty cool, at least like until the main writer is like until like you notice, hey, it's like not the same feeling anymore, not the same writing style, whatever, you know. Then yeah, then you know what's up. But yeah, there are like some characters I like, and some are like just, oh, they like look nice, they're cute, or they're gonna be the new Oshi or like the new waifu, you know. And then yeah, in my case, let's say like with one certain character there, I have like a little bit of a weakness, maybe, I suppose. And I'm gonna like see like how I draw that. But first of all, it's like a doodle, so nothing like too serious for now. And but if I like it, then there will be colors, and then yeah, it will not be chibi star, I suppose. We're gonna like see. It's a small girl. At the same time, like the size like of that. We'll like see how this will go. Maybe we have enough to like draw the full body. When I'd be like, oh, I'm not gonna illustrate that. Probably will be, can be like that, suppose. Like hands are one thing, but drawing the full body and trying to follow like the rules. But at the same time, it can be really rewarding if you like do it right, you know. Because if I remember like the art books of like doujinshi artists, you know, art books, just art books alone, and they're like really good at illustrating like with color, you know, to emphasize like some body parts, like shadows, like reflections, you know, and when they're like water droplets, sweat or so, whatever, and just like the fact about the human body, you know, like it's based on the human body, but it's like drawn to like anime illustration. You don't even need to see a face and you can still admit, man, that's like amazing, you know. And if it comes like to sculptures, you know, like those Greek or like Rome, like from the old age, you know, like those statues, you know, they look like pretty amazing too, even like the eye to detail. But every single time it's coming like with two like guys, you know, to the men, and you look at the crutch, you know. Notice like how little emphasis on details there are. Like whenever you like notice like a statue, you know, like a male statue, and they're like naked, look at that crutch and see how fine the details there are compared to like women statues that are like naked. I think like for many it's like kind of the same, kind of. I think like back in the days, there were not really like fujoshis, I suppose. Back in the days, not really, I suppose. Maybe it was like frowned upon when they could never pursue that dream on like doing that compared to today. But even today it was like somewhat frowned on, I suppose. Don't know, really. But sometimes the stories they come up with, you know, like in yaoi, like doesn't really make sense, you know. Can be really ridiculous and crazy, like those things like Jojo Baki, you know, like this kind of ridiculousness they like sometimes come up with. The Dick Fight Island, you know. To be honest, kind of want to read it, even though it's like super silly, probably. But because of that, I'm like kind of curious. Like whoever comes first loses. Whoever comes last, yeah, something like that. It's so ridiculous enough that you can like pull in viewers, you know, pull in readers. And if you give it enough of a compelling story, you know, like you have to give it the fine line between like ridiculousness and like epicness, you know, like you have to keep it crazy, but at the same time, like don't make it like too nuanced, you know, and like too deep of a thing. It somewhat needs to convince you at the very least, and then you know it can sell actually. But yeah, I think like I'm gonna read it. Let's see like how crazy they were there. So is this okay? Yeah, something's somewhat right. First try, maybe? No, not really first try. But it's convincing enough. Can I do it like this maybe? Nah, the way I did before was like good enough. Alright then. But it's a little bit too far. I would like to redo it. Yeah. No, nothing like that. Like this maybe then? But yeah, if you like try to like draw something or like try to tell a story that's a little bit more, you know, serious, you know, like with a good message, then yeah, and you have like to you have to like dig deep into your brain and like life experience as well to like share something. Like some songwriters, you know, even at a young age can like do that, but if it's like some stories, I don't know. But you know, like Akasaki, who like did Bunny Girl, was like 18 when he like, or like it was still in high school, let's say, when he like released that song. And even like songs have like some kind of message, a little bit of like life experience in there. I think like Ato, you know, who was like still in school, had like, you know, started off also off with music and did that thing. And it was like kind of compelling. Of course, there are like some kind of talents, you know, like some people can draw really well, some can like really sing really good, you know, some are like creative, and some are like blessed to have like, you know, they can not only like come up with the things but also execute it really well, you know. And then yeah, and you say, well, for example, from Ato, it was like about frustration and like shut up, you know. And yeah, and but like people like from older age, you know, like older than her, could like resonate with it and find their own meaning into that one, you know. I mean, there are like also like books like Aragon, I think, and the guy who like wrote the story was like a teenager or so, but still was like able to like write a really good book, you know. Got like a movie, games and everything, and he's like so young. Usually it's like kind of unusual, you know, because life experience is like the spice, you know, the spice, secret spice to like make things really like good and compelling. And so, but you can like still do it, you know, if you're like really thoughtful about like everything, like a craft like you create. Like, what do you want to convey, kind of, rather than like over farming and stuff. And yeah, I mean, like in JP, you know, light novel scene, there are a lot of like those slobs, and like, yeah, oh, the writer of this anime is like 15 years old or so, and then no, and then yeah, it's like this kind of stereotype. You can like expect that it's like not necessarily like the most deepest thing. And some people like do some kind of really dumb stuff, you know, that like grandpa who like is the master of everything, at some point he dies, and then the young boy is like carrying over or so, and then he's a prodigy or whatever, and then yeah. It's always like, sometimes like in this kind of sense that kid has no parents or so. Always like one of the parents died, or like both of them died, and then it's like kind of a revenge story when I hate the demons, and then becomes a demon or so. I hate titans, becomes a titan. You know, like this meme. More smug or like more with a frown? Both would like fit okay. Homete. There's something really cute about Kei, like how tsundere he became. So tsundere. I'm kinda into it. Usually back in the days, tsundere were like the archetypes of like small, big forehead, twin tails, blonde, you know, have like a fang, and like those cat eyes. But nowadays, they don't have to look like this. Unless you can look like Asuka, you know, like I think like Asuka was like kind of, but at the same time not really. Like there was nothing like love interest or so, but they just had to like look hot, you know, and then around a boy like that is like young, like Shinji, you know. But I still have like to watch it, of course. But I remember like some parts that I like read some manga a little bit. Like I haven't finished it really, but they were like library like randomly volume 5 or so, or like volume 3, I'm not really sure, and I saw like the thing with Kaworu, you know, like some girls, some like female friends, like art friends that like I had, they like Kaworu also, to like to draw a fan out of him, but maybe they only saw the anime and yeah, something like that. There was like a scene like in the manga, I'm gonna spoil something that's like almost 3 decades old or so, that Kaworu, you know, there was like a cat or something, you know, and had like no home, a stray cat, super hungry, and yeah, and what Kaworu, like the white-haired dude, like did is like pick up the cat, and then, you know, because they have like no home, no one taking care of them, it's best if I like do the mercy kill so that it doesn't have to suffer like in the long run. And then he took the cat, raised it on its neck, and then yeah. And sometimes I like think you do know that he did this, right? Or don't you know? Did you not know? Because especially like after I like took care of a cat, like cat sitting, you know, like if I combine like the time like of cat sitting, like almost a year, it's like maybe like 6 to 7 months or so. Yeah, like about 7 months. I kind of like see, you know, like how small and precious this life is, kind of. And even if you're like stronger than like those little beings, we are not really like supposed to like take on the role of God and like decide whether they live or die. That's like up to them, you know. Even if you think it's better for them to like not suffer like in the long run with like that, maybe there's like hope for them, you know. But if it comes to horses, then yeah, better to like euthanize them, because there's not really a way to heal them, like if one of their legs is like broken. But with a cat, it's like kind of like, you didn't have to do that, you know. Why? Yeah, I suppose. And Shinji was like kind of like, you know, not really like arguing against it or so. But who can blame him? He's just like a teenager, just a kid or so. He like kind of like complained a little bit, but didn't like really push further. He's like this kind of pussy. But yeah, from like I remember like reading this part of the manga. I need a reference sheet of K from this angle. I cannot draw her out of my head, out of memory, like this. But yeah, it's always like better to like know the in out of a character you like before you commit, I suppose. Some people like cosplayed Makima, for example, and he seems like really charismatic, has like a nice voice if you watch the anime, and taught like Denji like about some stuff and so, but until like came out, you know, that she's a manipulator actually, and like misuses like actually like you know, she doesn't really like Denji. It's just like, you know, yeah, he's useful. That's like why I did all of those things, you know. When people like were like outraged and be like, no, I can't believe I cosplayed as Makima, you know, or she's such a bitch and whatever, and then yeah, something like that. So if like people like supposed to know like that the character that admired are like such you know, no, if evil were hot, you know, then yeah, I think like their world of kind of worldview like changes. Like you can't like judge our books by its cover really. And we are at a fault as we like made evil like hot actually. So we can't like really like trust, I suppose. Double-edged sword. Well, at least like in the archive is like the redemption of like Ryo also. Like at the end of the day, they're all like teenagers, all kids, you know. They still have like room to grow. Even if they do like something that seems like, oh, I did it out of logical reason, you know. It's like the kind of like how it's called. This kind of lever thing. What's called? You know, this is the Asian, where you like have a lever. Can go to the right track where there are 3 people, or to the left track where where there's 1 guy. You know, 1 and 3 guys, and like a train is like coming, like rapidly fast, and you have to decide. Do I sacrifice 3 people or like 1 guy, you know? The 1 guy might be like your beloved one, you know, your lover, the love of your life, and the 3 guys are just like some randoms you don't know. For example, would it be right to like let your lover like live and you let like 3 people die? Or would it be morally right to like let the 3 people live, but you have like to sacrifice your love of your life, you know? This is kind of dilemma, for example, right? And like one of the characters, you know, kind of more or less faced this kind of scenario, but was like, okay, I'm gonna kill one of the students instead, like the 1 student there. Something like that, but it was not really the right way. And like that someone who's so young was like willing to kill someone, you know, it's like kind of like, wow. Just because they had like this situation and didn't really see like a better way, you know, so they had like, everything enough power to do so. And the way to redeem them was like, yeah, just a little teenagers, just dump, you know, and something like that. And they did suffer psychological like damage, emotional damage, because, you know, the weight of that was like too much for like a kid for her to handle also. I'm not gonna like mention like the name, but if you come to the story, you know, you will like notice, I suppose. Some people don't like think it's like the best story really that came out of this volume, but you know, everything to their own, I suppose. Like for example, I think like there was emotional weight, but at the same time, could it be better? Yes. It revolves like mostly like around a certain character and to flesh out their character arc or so. Not necessarily like about the main cast of the chapter 1. But yeah. Gacha stories be like, I suppose. At the same time, it didn't really feel like too much of a gacha story, you know, because it did put emphasis like on an existing character rather than a new character, you know, that you like want to try to sell. There's like a little bit of a memory, like, for them. They do not forget, more or less. But yeah, I'm like a little bit more I'm confident, like regarding like the archive's like story, like in its writing. I must like say. Like so far I've been proven like that I can't really trust him anymore. Like maybe only like a few specific writers, you know, but the thing is like when it comes to banter, that's like pretty well written, or like entertaining to read at the very least, you know. Like when I read like the Red Winter story, you know, like with Takane and Yakumo, I really like this one interaction between like Mashio and Ui, you know, like where that little bit of the showdown, you know, like that they were gonna throw hands at each other. I kind of like this kind of part, but yeah, overall the whole message of like the event and like the writing style itself was kind of like you know. At the end of the day, it's just like cute girls doing not cute things, but just like dumb things. At the end of the day, it was like understandable like how it came to this, but it took way too long to explain that. It took them way too long to explain that, to justify the reason like where they were or so. And those are just kids, you know. It's like also like kind of but yeah. How did I come to this part? I think like with Kaworu from Evangelion, and then like we talked about Makima for some reason with the Blue Archive, regarding like if Eva hot or so, you know. Yeah, it was something like that. This kind of part. If I think about it, is there a certain character where I'm feeling like, yeah, they're like the villain, but I'm be like, man, if they evil, why hot, you know? Is there anything like that I can think about? Maybe like Kurumi from Date Alive, not really sure. But they're not really evil, necessarily. But I also like there are like some confusing things. Like I haven't like watched it in a long time, so maybe like my point of view might change. But I really thought like, man, they are the best girls. So, but they have like multiple clones. Some clones have like their own personality or so, and there was like a certain clone also. Like I thought like this was the real Kurumi, and I was like, man, she really cute and so. And then they came like one of the clones, or like the real one or so, and they're actually like more evil. They like killed off like one of the one I kind of like fell in love with, and then yeah, it's kind of like I don't really know like what to trust anymore, like at this point. But maybe I'm gonna rewatch it and be like but at the same time it's kind of like this harem slop as well. But really popular series actually, so has like multiple seasons, you know. It's kind of like, why did No Game No Life not get a second season and this slot get like a lot more? But yeah, I suppose. Industry is like kind of like that. They're like kind of like, yeah, I mean, No Game No Life there's only one girl that's like really marketable, and at least they only like did like Shiro figurines or so, not like of like Tiffany or so, or like the one Fox girl, whatever. Like they got like some waifu materials there actually, or like at least like, yo, super cute, they make like a good figurine or so. In data life they're like, it's like harem slop, so there are a lot of girls to like choose from, so they opted like for this kind of route. And video game-ish wise, video game wise, they can like do a lot more than like with No Game No Life. So what I pretty much like about No Game No Life, the things like isekai, the things like when people from planet Earth get like truck-kunt, like isekai'd, they gain like power, cheat abilities, and then they're super strong or whatever, But in No Game Life, it's kind of like that they want the main characters, Shiro and I forgot their names. That they want like both of the main characters because they're godlike gamers, And yeah, why like about the skills of gamers? Because the world of No Game No Life has like something to do with games, and the winner is like the king, like the loser has like to follow everything, like the losers to follow everything. The winner is like setting like out in a contract, like trade offer, something like that, something like trade offer maybe, or like win, that one side has to give up something to the other, so in a sense. And there was like the humanity, they call like in their world humanity, but when singular form human, plural form humanity, then it's kind of like dumb. But they sucked ass at the gaming, they're like last place, and they're like the other folks like beastmen, they're like angels also, and they're like demons as well, and let's say they are better ranked than like the humanity also. And the humans were like so, like humanity was like so desperate, they need like help, some carry, because when it comes to games, the demons can like use their magic, the beast folk have like their sharpened senses, so if they like choose a game like, I don't know, like coin flip, head or like tails, they can like kind of like calculate like really precisely on which like side it lands, and humanity don't have like any kind of gimmick or like cheat abilities, so they need like help, and that's like why they need the gamers from our world, to like carry them. And this actually makes a lot more sense rather than like, yeah, someone who, oh, I hate my job, and then he's just like me for real, and then gets transported out of world, gets cheat abilities. It's kind of like, nah, it's not really like, doesn't really make sense too much. It's just like this kind of like wishful thinking of like, when I die I want to live a better life, something like that. It's kind of like giving up on your life right now, the cards you've been dealt with, just so that you see a story where they have like the godlike hand and so on. It's not really like that interesting, like to see how they play their godlike hands if they failed at playing with their ass hand, the hand that was so ass. It would have been more interesting if they like actually tried and still like kept going, rather than like giving up and be like, But for the most part, like what is the excuse for them to like get isekai in the first place is like, yo, a cat or whatever is like on the streets and they're about to like get run over by the truck. No, I have to help them. And then yeah, and then, oh, I see you at least some decency, let me give you a cheat power. And then it's kind of this excuse, But yeah, No Game No Life was interesting because it didn't have like this cheat power like kind of thing, because they already like mastered their ability on like, like on gaming. They were really good at that, and so they didn't need any hand holding or so. And this made it like interesting. And then like listening to the game rules or so, and then or like even rock paper scissors, the psychology there, or like poker, like of course those are like techniques from our real world, like how you can cheat there, and like you have to count cards, a blackjack or so, and yeah. And for Paper Scissors like psychology, something like that. And Hunter x Hunter, there was like this kind of part as well that got like emphasized. I pretty much liked that, all of that, you know. Like when they go like a little bit more in depth with like what is like up with like those games. But if it like comes to games, you know, the anime, I think like Shangri-La Frontier is like pretty good. And like even if there's like a big power gap, like in level or so, you can make up in skills and like how you play with your cards you've been dealt with, you know, like how do you defeat them without like brute forcing it, you know, kind of. And it was kind of interesting, like how they would like go on with like that kind of thing, like how they would approach like stuff. I think I could not draw it like that. So. Not really sure how to draw that. Whatever. But yeah, Rens comes like to the part of like bringing your own skills from the real world into the fantasy world you've like been isekai'd in, you know. There are like some also like bad examples regarding that that make it like more like aura farming, like flexing rather than like actually, you know, making like logical sense or so, like why they're like there or so. I think that with Eminence in the Shadows, you know, it's like kind of like that. It is cringe, but it knows it's cringe, and it still like does whatever, you know, kind of. That they're self-aware, kind of. And there's a kind of the thing that there's a guy who's like wanting to become strong enough for whatever reason, you know. And it's like not really, it's like with Goku, you know, like training himself over and over to like to become stronger, and it's not really like something you can resonate with, I must like say. like humanity has like reached a point where they don't really have, like, let's say that like the apex predators, you know, like on top of the food chain, they don't have like any enemies, you know, in a sense, like in the wilderness, because they're at the top, they have like civilization, they have like safety, you know. It's not like maybe other humans, terrorists maybe like you have to be aware of, and he for some reason like seeks the fight or so and like trains himself over and over again, like Shitkage, you know, like the protagonist of like Eminence in Shadow. And he did like multiple like kind of things, like when someone gets kidnapped, he's gonna be like the masked hero, you know. I'm the stylish Bokan slayer or whatever, and then fights like against like some guy like who was like part of military. The military guy has a knife, he has like what's called? Iron, like the bonk stick, you know, like the iron. It's not an iron bar really, but crowbar, and he uses like a tonfa or whatever, and kind of like flexes like you know, like that can be used as tonfa. He uses it the whole time as a tonfa the whole time. Then he changes tactic that he uses like a blunt weapon, you know, like a baseball bat, and then yeah. But to be honest, like if he uses like a, not as a tonfa but like as a long stuff weapon, you know, you would have like the advantage the whole time, you know, like no matter how like trained the guy with the knife is, you always have the advantage of like the crowbar that requires like a lot less skill also. And yeah, you can like disarm them and then, or like break their hand, break their arm, you know. If you hit their hand like a little bit, like with enough like force, you're gonna be like ah, and then they let go of the weapon, or like lighten their grip, and then you can like maybe disarm them like with a kick or whatever. And yeah, even if you block like a crowbar like with the knife, it's gonna like set enough vibrations that you like lighten your grip. Like you always have the advantage of a longer weapon, you know. Whoever has reach is like better, but they made like some kind of shonen slop that they did like, I don't know, like bam 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 bam, whack whack whack, you know, like touching back and forth and like conning themselves, like something like that, rather than like having like short and realistic. But it actually knew what it was, so it didn't take itself seriously really, and just like did our farming, and yeah. And even when he gets like reincarnated like in the other world, you know, and gets like actually magic, you know, I want more power, he also like flexes like with his knowledge there, and gets also the crowbar, and then oh, you can also use the tonfa, and then it's kind of like dumb, you know. And when I see like those kind of shorts or like videos, you know, okay, we're gonna review like the tonfas or like the crowbars from Shitkage from the Eminence of Shadow. Would it be a realistic weapon? Are like the pros and cons? What are the pros and cons? And it's kind of like, yeah, they're not really like used as weapon, but you can use them as a blunt weapon, you know. You can't really use them as tonfa because you can't really hook also, and you don't really have a handguard really that will kind of like that, you know, like how BS like some of the concepts are. Like I mean like Guts sword, for example, like from Berserk, is already like ridiculous. Like you swing once and then you have like 1 second like opening where you can get attacked, you know. It doesn't matter how strong you are actually, because it is physically impossible to like swing that thing like masterfully, like Cloud also, whatever, you know. It's pretty impossible. That looks cool, I suppose, when yeah. And because of like Berserk, Dark Souls exists, you know, and there's like those monster designs, the weapon designs or so, I mean, yeah, I suppose. I'm not really sure like how to draw all of that, but I'm gonna see how I will do this. She has very long hair, like Arise. Localization we like through here actually. That she's like localized as Arise, not like as Alice. They're really like flopped there. EL1S. Alice. No, Aris. What? Yeah. It's like a thing that was like used in Rave Master, or like the manga Rave, like from Hiro Mashima. The same guy who did like Eden Zero, Fairy Tail, you know. Like a mangaka that is like known. And there was like one girl has like some writing on her upper arm or so, like some numbers like written there, and then something like 37713, but then if she point of view it's from her side and it's like upside down, it reads like Ellie, you know, like this kind of number combination. And then, oh, that's my name, you know. And then AL1S, Alice, you know. And then they're like Aris, Aris, you know, AR1IS, you know. It's kind of like, I mean, if it's JP, understandable, but localization-wise, English, you know. That one freaking job there. They like threw a generational throw. Ah. I refuse to call her Aris. I'm gonna call her Aris like the Japanese people, I suppose, from now on. But yeah. It's like me as a weeb speaking there. Rather than like your typical normie. I don't necessarily see what's wrong, but it's also like I have to improve something about that. Maybe like the volume of the hair, like upwards. Can't really like see what's wrong. I'll probably leave this black and white, not color. Taking too long for that. Hmm. Suppose I like drawing, but at the same time there are like things I don't like about it, you know? Like, art is like kind of a journey, kind of a struggle. You can't like get it like first try everything like right. You could like maybe go with the vision you had like at first, but sometimes like while you're doing it, you like find out I'm not able, like, or maybe not be able, your skill level is like too low to like do it like as you imagine, when you have like to kind of improvise, you know, to still like make it like good enough, you know, at the very least, so that like the time you've like spent there has not been worthless. It is like with some games as well, you know, sometimes the enemy, or like not enemy, the gamer you like play against, you know, like 1v1, is like actually better than you think, or they do like a lot of like random BS that you cannot predict, you know, and it throws you off. You can't like land a perfect KO with like not getting touched at all. Sometimes you get hit here and there, and it's kind of like but you still have like to play, you know, with the cards you've been dealt with, and I kind of like try with what I have, you know, but I'm also like not necessarily like happy about yeah, but struggling is like normal, like whatever you do. Of course, like people like still like somehow what like curious on like what will be the end result, you know, like how will it look in the end, will you add like colors or like not, whatever. And yeah, especially if you know the artist is like, you know, when I watch art streams and I know the artist is like good, I'm kind of like curious, you know, man, how will it look like? It's gonna be amazing, right? But until we get like to the perfect moment, we still have like to watch and like wait, you know. And yeah, I really much like watching Kanzarin Sensei's one draw or like two draw streams, you know, like where she like draws a picture and the time limit is 1 hour or like 2 hours, and she's so fast, and it's not like she uses like lines like me, but like goes already with color, you know. And then it's like she's an illustrator, not a mangaka, you know, so it's kind of like wow, amazing for me, tight to watch. But these are like things that I can not copy yet. It's sometimes things impossible to copy because it's like so vastly different from like how I draw, but maybe, you know, if I feel like I don't want to draw manga but like illustrate, I suppose I can do this path. But yeah, I still like want to stick to the manga kind of like thing, I don't suppose. We're gonna like see. I have like some ideas, but first of all I need time as well. A full-time job is like not really doing it, I suppose. I get money, I can afford my hobbies pretty easily. There's always like some money left, you know, enough that I could like get life to whatever. But I mean, like, I like streaming, so it would be like a good investment, you know. Rather be like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like streaming, you know, this will be my first time, let's spend like 20k bucks on like model and like rigging and like channel UI, whatever, and then you start streaming and be like, I don't really like streaming, and you wasted like 20k for nothing, you know. But I did like, my channel here is like 5 years old. I streamed like about 5 years, and I can like say, yeah, I like streaming, I can do that, but at the same time, But yeah, I think like I need to make a choice, I suppose. So I think like, yeah, I can like quit my full-time job and then like focus on like that, I suppose, a little bit more. Little bit more? A lot more, hopefully. Cannot draw the hands. like in the sketch. Maybe add them later, I suppose. Sono kashira. Not really sure. Something like this. Something like this. Oh gosh, I'm struggling. Hahaha. Oh well, let's do the proper details later on, like on the hands. Just gonna leave it there for now. I need to get the shape done. That I at least where you can like see, that I can like see, okay, what I'm working with, and then, yeah. It's reverse color, like from Aris's one, more or less. She has a different hairstyle. She has different expressions. But there's like something cute about her. Very cute and very cute. Not gapmui. Very tsundere. Very adorable. It's not that I like it. Baka. Actually, if she would like pull out like the cliched tropes of like tsundere, it would be like so fun and entertaining to look. And then she blushes afterwards also, and then gets embarrassed or whatever, and then yeah. The humiliation, like seeing that, maybe. Oh gosh. But yeah, I think I need time. Time to learn how to draw, like, with colors and such. It can look like already good enough, you know. Like with that part here. I don't have like to draw everything, actually. I can cut things out and like leave it at that, rather than like drawing like this kind of body. Like this full body like that I had like here already, but yeah. But yeah, I think like really leave it at that. Not gonna draw like too much. No colors. I'm like too exhausted for that, I suppose. Yet yeah, if it's chibi I could like add colors, and then it's like a lot more brighter, a little more positive, but like this way it's kind of like, you know, can't do much more. I don't feel like it. At the very least maybe the eyes I could like, you know, a little bit of not rendering, but like, yeah. But how would you do that if it's like black and white? I wonder. I wonder how would you do that. And also the halo. Don't forget the halo. Do not forget the halo, Tosan. I need to be able to finish my artworks, I suppose. Yeah, better done than like perfect, I suppose. I will like rush for now instead of trying to carefully craft something. Speed is like more important. I always forget that sometimes when it comes to that. Like, no matter how fast I run, I cannot run away from the pain. And yeah, time is also limited, so you can't like really waste all your time to make like something perfect. Like, do it like to the best of your abilities, like in a given time, you know, like you know, a time limit, or like the cards you've been dealt with in a sense, you know, and try to like to play with those kind of rules. If you can like do it within this time, cool. If you cannot, I mean, at least you didn't like lost too much time, you know, in a sense. And you still have like more of your day like remaining for like other stuff, I suppose. If you don't have any other hobbies, then I suppose, you know, you can like keep doing it. But the thing is like smartphone entertainment, and yeah, I mean, you always have like something to get hooked by, something that you can get lost into, and yep, I suppose also gacha games and whatever on crap this. So yeah, it's like not easy to escape like the shackles of like life is like giving you, I suppose, and your resistance against like a smartphone, you know, it's not poison, you know, because it's like somewhat like pleasure as well, and because of that it's like hard to like defend against that, you know. Maybe you need willpower, but willpower is like limited, you know, and maybe too precious a resource. What if we give up our willpower to get like a legendary item? You know, like Grimm's Tales? I don't really know how it's called like in English, but you know, the Grimm stories, like those fairy tales, you know? They are like, you know, something about a magical world, and people like with magical tools also, you know, like things like Aladdin on his like flying carpet, something like that, or there's like a desk, you know, that's able to like get food onto it. We call it like in German Tischlein deck dich, you know. It's like a little table, and you can like say Tischlein deck dich, and then it serves you like food and you know, something like that. It's an unlimited food resource, something like that. And if you like give up something of yours, you know, like maybe your memory, maybe like your willpower, maybe like your courage, you know, like one part of one kind of character trait of yours, maybe like color side, like anything, then you get like this item, like you know, trade offer. But you can also trade it back, like no, imagine it's like a library, you know, like give and take. If you would like give up your willpower, I mean, I think like a lot of people would like be obsessed like with their smartphone and not really able to put it down unless like someone else like disrupting them or so. But also like when you have no willpower, you have like no, let's say, no courage to fight back really. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I can't take it anymore, you know, something like that. That you get like impatient, have like no breaks really in a sense. Like willpower is like kind of important. Even if we like trained, by the end of the day, at some point our body's like tired enough, we're gonna be like, you know, okay, let's rest, it's enough, you know. We have at least like this kind of sensibility, our brain is also like functioning, you know. But if the soul doesn't cooperate like at all, then you're like kind of lost. And if there's this kind of power system like that, you know, then yeah, we might be like doomed. Regarding like this kind of system, you know, trading like something of yours with like a magical tool from a fairy tale. I like read a book about it. I forgot like the title, but if I go to library, pick up that book again, I could like recognize what it is. It has like no movie, no series or so, but when I read that kind of book, I kind of was like thinking, like the book I read like, I don't know, 15 years ago or so, I really was like, man, this is like really interesting, really well done. So, and why has no one else like done that? And it's like, ah yeah, of course. And yeah. It's kind of like, you know, like with Nen a little bit, that Kurapika, for example, like sets some certain rules for himself so that he has like a powerful Nen ability, kind of. And he can only use it on like those people he seeks revenge on, but if he like doesn't use like those abilities on anyone else, he will instantly die. Something like that, this kind of restriction. Like this give and take. Maybe like if we can make an alchemist a little bit as well, you know? Like, how you're ready to sacrifice your life for a purpose. But doesn't have to be extreme always, you know? With any of our use cases. To be honest, it's like always like interesting to like brainstorm a little bit with some stuff. I have like a lot of like ideas like regarding like stories I could like write or so, and like maybe draw, and but I have like not written like anything recently down. Like it's all in my head, and it's kind of like still cooking, you know, on like what I potentially could like bring up. I would like to draw manga, since it has been like in my childhood like been somewhat of a dream, you know. But I can like see like when I have like the time actually. Like I do stream, I play gacha games, I have a full-time job when I need to sleep as well, so there's like not much time really. I'm glad the cat is like gone for now and that the parents are like taking care of it rather than like me. I mean, I can take care of her, I educated myself, but they take a lot of time away. I mean, like I wake up on time, I have like the best sleep ever, so I have no sleep paralysis demon like plaguing me, but they take like a lot of your attention, you know, especially if they're not like spayed neutered. Like talking a bit with my parents and they kind of like refuse to like spay neuter and they want to keep the natural, and it's kind of like, yeah. At the end of the day, it's like Imoto's like choice, like she was okay with that, but first of all she has not only like let's word speak but also like action speak, you know, so yeah. And so far she has not taken any action, so it's like this so she's still like a wild cat in a sense, and like Miu. And yeah, if it comes like to the case that I gonna again and have like to have her again, then I will probably not be able to like chase after my goals, you know. I'm still stuck. But yeah. But why would I like stream, you know, when I have like Goa? I mean, it can like maybe help, like to get a little bit of clout, you know, like to get your like your motivation like going to like draw something, to create something. Like I think like for a lot of creators it's like this kind of sense that they are not necessarily like, let's say they don't want to keep all the artworks for themselves, you know, and only for themselves, but they're like ready to share with other people, you know, even if it's like the loot ones, you know, at least like, you know, they left their mark onto their world, you know, proof of their existence. And I think that's like a beautiful thing, you know, to like share like something that was like your mind and share with the world, you know. Like the videos are also like kind of nice as well, that you share like your knowledge, maybe like entertain people like in the everyday. Like, okay, there are things like TikTok and so, some people like call it brain rot, they're like memes, some are like pretty triggering, but the other day you did like left your foot behind, you know, like some sign of like that you were alive. At the same time, you know, you have like to think about how do you want to be remembered, you know. Like, suppose you're gonna die tomorrow, what have you done today for the world? Can you think you can be proud of that? If I were like, you know, to not make it like until tomorrow, look what I have done today. I mean, like, yeah, I can be somewhat like okay with that. Like I streamed, I ate, and I suppose I was not a nuisance, you know. At the same time I haven't like reached my goals, but I kind of like okay, you know, like if I die I will die. Currently I kind of point where I like not really, let's say like I can accept it, you know. I probably will still like want to like live, you know, but I would be okay with it if the time has come for me, you know. But until then I will wait until my expiration date has been like reached or so. Do you believe in fate? I don't know. But I do believe like in those kind of supernatural things, I suppose. Like that there are things like ghosts, that there are things like afterlife or so. But I'm not really sure like how you measure like let's say like good deeds or so in order to like get there. What are the qualifications, you know? There's no proof regarding that, and because of that, you know, it's kind of uncertain. But the religions are like kind of like there to give you cope, to like still move on in life and not be paralyzed by, I don't know, uncertainty. As long as you can still believe, you know, I think like it's good. don't want like those depressive people, you know. Sometimes you have to lie to them, you know, a nice lie rather than like the harsh truth, you know. And so there's like that. And sometimes, you know, you can like make this lie into reality, you know, fake it until you make it. It's also like a thing. Let's take my own hands as a reference. I'm not like satisfied with like those things I draw. I think like those are those. We're just getting covered by those freaking big sleeves. But whatever. Whatever. I'm gonna leave it at that one. I'm gonna, I think like if I draw it, I'm gonna cut it out around here. Yeah, I think like I will do this thing here. That I make the canvas smaller. Cause so. Then conveniently cut out like those parts of the hands, I suppose. Yes, I'm lazy. Well, it looks a lot better. Okay, better done than like perfect. Better done than perfect. I would not be able to sleep. Knowing like, man, there's still like something I could like correction. And then the halo. I will keep it black and white, no colors, so it's gonna be something like it's like a lot of squares. I will not upload that one. I will not upload that one, I think. At most maybe blue sky. I think I will leave it like on my own. If I think like I want to like touch it up a little bit, then there will be a post later on, but for now I'm kinda like it's like a Doodles stream rather than like a proper art stream, but still art is art, you know, like I've drawn it, I made it, you know, so I suppose. I made that. How do I draw the eyes then? kind of impossible. I think some of the decisions make sense on like that I decide to like finish and then like erase a lot of like progress I've like done. And maybe like a little bit of a waste, you know. I think like as a kid I kind of like saw, you know, if I think like, if I see something like be like, man, why did I erase that? It looked good, and then, but at the same time, you know, now that I put myself in their shoes, it's like about getting the work done rather than like, you know, having like more quantity. And yeah, but to be honest, like rather than like quality, yeah, rather than like quality, that you will have like quantity, like have the things like done, you know, in the first place, rather than like dragging on forever and ever and ever, with like no real end in sight. I think like manga can be like great in this kind of thing as well, but sometimes people like push the boundaries, like Yusuke Murata, you know, like the artist for like iShield 21 or like One Punch Man, for example, you know, and really someone who like knows their craft, like how to draw even, and yeah. It looks like epic. Fight scenes and everything, you know. The muscular bodies of like some characters in there, like Prisoner, or like this Alloy Shine, like the one guy who looks like a bodybuilder, not bodybuilder, but like who has like dark skin tone, you know, only has like underpants on, and then a lot of muscles, you know, like tank top fighter, like. But also, if they like draw hotties like Ikemen, they look also like great. Well, like more harder to draw, probably like the Giga Chat characters, you know, but would that be fun to draw? Yes, definitely, right? Could I animate them? I suppose not. Like animate, not really like animation, but in a sense of like that you can like imagine their body like in a three-dimensional way, you know, that you can draw it from every angle. I think I cannot do that. I always need a reference, I suppose. But if it's like a slender body or so, more petite, or maybe like twink fig, you know, like the twink kind of like body build, then I probably can imagine them from a lot of angles, you know. If there's big boobas, I don't know, I suppose. Like, I can only like think so far like with those slender body builds, you know, and not like any further, I suppose. Like everyone's brain has like a little bit of a limit with the capacity. Yeah, okay, the ribbons also need like a little bit of like the dark color, but then I would be done. But yeah, speaking of like One Punch Man, Yusuke Muratsu, I think like I need to like read the web comic or web manga like further. And see what's like up with that for now. Because of the anime, can't really rely on that, I must like say. Maybe like if there will be fan animators, you know, they surely can cook a lot better. Mob Psycho 100, man. The story's like amazing there. The characters. And how it plays like with emotional weight as well. It's not necessarily like about the fight scenes, but like really about the characters, the growth and such. But sometimes you need like those epic fight scenes to tell a story. But he did like really well, like in this one part, like season 1 kind of. It was like the second big battle there. You could like call it the second arc or so. Nah, maybe like the reverse way. To think about it, was there ever like a similar person in my life that has like something like the traits of a mama? I would like say there has been like always like a person like close by me, but it was not a childhood friend or something, but like my stepmother also. They were always like strict and everything, but they provided food, they cleaned the house, they did the like the bare minimum, kind of, more or less, you know, whatever like a housewife is supposed to do. But because I wasn't really like the child of that woman, you know, I always felt like, man, very thin, you know, very, very thin. Is there some devil? Sometimes, you know, they're not assholes, they're like humans at the end of the day, so they can like show humanity and like somewhat of like, you know, fairness here and there. And sometimes I'd be like, man, you can be there, but at the same time, too much sin that I can't like really relax around that person, you know. It's nothing like an anime, like with an anime tropes, or like here with K, you know, where you feel like, man, that's cute, you know, because they're like a cute little girl, you know, something like that, and when they secretly like you. But I don't really like have the experience that there was like Cinder that like me, really. At the very least, I'm not aware of, you know. I think like a lot of people are not aware of when someone has feelings for you, I suppose. A lot of people are not. But I had like some experience where I did like know, I think they like me, or they really not like in a romantic sense, but they like me at minimum, or they love me, you know. But I can't like really tell. There were like points, you know, where a girl ran towards my direction and then hugged me, you know, be like, man, you're so cute, or something like that. I mean, I'm a little guy, of course, but at the same time, you know, be like, I did acted like the harm protagonist or something like, let me go, you know, and then yeah, something like that. But the thing is like that, like anime and keep going on, they're human beings, they have like feelings, you know, and they can get hurt, you know, like when they get pushed away, something like that. So the next I kind of like stopped, you know, and I kind of was like I was kind of like still preparing, keeping my guard up, you know, because I had like in mind, you know, maybe anime, harem comedy and whatever did prepare me for that. But of course it's like really different, because at the end of the day, you know, they're people. They have like a pilot, and this pilot can get like hurt also. I say like pilot, but but in the other day we are like that. We have emotions, you know, we don't always act on logic, but if we do act on that, when reflect, it can be like, wow, maybe I did something wrong, and then sometimes emotions can come with it, and then it's like kind of the finishing blow there. And yeah, but I was not really like able to like think that far. I didn't had like that much on empathy. I always like wanted to be understood rather than to understand, you know, like back in days. But nowadays, you know, if I look back at it, it's kind of like, yeah, even though I have like kind of the background of spoiled brat, and when I get humbled, I still had like the arrogance to like live in my own world, like think that like stuff is like supposed to go like how I want to. And yeah, and let's say I did like a lot of mistakes. I could have like those anime protagonists actually childhood friends, you know, like, you know, girl childhood friends, you know, Osana Najimi, like this kind of trope, and would be like surrounded, but my life currently is like pretty lonely. But it's not, maybe not lonely, but it's like there's like solitude, kind of, you know. I live a life in solitude, and I do draw strength out of it, a lot of wisdom, I would like say, and things like I can share. But for some people it could be like loneliness, and where they can get really like lost into that, lost into their own thoughts, you know, and just like break because their own thoughts are like way too heavy, way too strong, too much of weight, that it just breaks them when they just like start crying or so. I didn't really had like in my solitude or like loneliness, I didn't really had like this kind of moments, but there are enough people like who did also. And the kind of meditation where you just stare at a wall, and then you let your own thoughts conquer you, or like come up, and then, you know, you gotta be surrounded with that. On my part, there's not really nothing like that. Maybe I'd really like, it's not loneliness, but like solitude, you know, something where I draw my strength from. It's peaceful, you know. It's not necessarily like you're happy, but there's like peace, something like that, you know. But sometimes, if you have the time, and if like the opportunity is like there, you can actually hang out with people, you know. Like I use like events like for that, or appointment, you know, like, hey, I'm writing them, hey, do you have time at this time slot? And then if they have, then we can meet up, you know. But it's not like that I meet them every single day. It's like every once in a while. Some people call this is not friendship, you know, if you only talk like once a month or like once a year with each other or so. But I'm like this kind of person with this social battery, like, which is limited. I really don't have like much energy. I can't like be someone who like can take like a job on where you like talk with a lot of people or so. Like on stream I can like kind of do that because, you know, it's behind a screen, behind an avatar, you know, you don't really see me, like how I look like. Also at the same time I can't really see you guys, you know, but that's also like fine. And yeah, but it's just like about me, like sharing my stuff sometimes be like a dumb ass, you know. And yeah, and if I sing, I can be like kind of a dumb ass too. I like ruin a few songs and don't really sound like a pro singer, but sometimes they come like my best songs out there where I have like more practice in, or like actually fits me. Then yeah, I had like fun like with singing Sutsumayo songs. I have like fun with like some Yosobi, Kingnu, Hakujitsu, this one. I had like fun singing the One Punch Man opening, The Hero. Shisho Saikyo. Shisho Saikyo. Nanda kind of frustration. Something like that, where you really like go, where like the kind of backup vocals, you know, in there. To be honest, you know, those are like fun songs, like with the hero, or like Onigamasu or whatever, or like Uma Pure Densetsu or something like that. Pretty fun. But if I think like about Blue Archive, despite like being so chaotic at some point with the band and so, the songs are like really idle-like, rather than like what the fuck, whatever they like do. Maybe BGM like Unwelcome School, but not really like songs. Kind of wasted opportunity. Can you hear it? The sound of bell? Ba 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 ba. Something like that. But yeah, in any case, that has been all for today, I would like to say. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Here's a Rakugaki, a doodle of like K, black and white. I was too lazy to draw the full body, to draw the hands. Like, I wasn't really satisfied like how I drew them, and just like cut that part out and then did what I can. These lines are like not clean if you like look close at it and everything, but it's good enough, you know. I call it a day, and maybe next week I'm gonna draw something properly. Who knows? In any case, thank you all for watching. I wish you a nice rest of the day, evening, good night. Whatever times on the world you all are, with that gonna say, bye bye.